Hello, I'm Abhishek, and today I'm going to talk about a topic called inflation. So recently there has been a news of in February of that the inflation rate of February 2024. It has been seen that more than half the major Indian states are facing a higher rural inflation versus the urban inflation rate. So as we see, as we have seen from the data of the Ministry of Statistics from Government of India, there has been a trend that has been showing that uh, almost half, more than half of the major states and union territories that India have is facing a higher inflation rate compared to the urban areas. And as for now, the rural inflation stands to be at 5.34%, which is significantly higher than the urban CPI rate that is of 4.78%. So, if we see the data of the states which have reported the highest retail inflation, we find that one is Odisha, which has the highest of 7.55%. Then comes Telangana, which has 6.71%. Then comes Haryana with 6.28%. Then comes Assam, Jharkhand, and so on. And if we look at the states or the union territories with the lowest retail inflation, we see that Delhi has the lowest inflation of 2.4%. Then comes Madhya Pradesh with 3.86 percentage. Then comes Uttarakhand with 3.95 percentage. Then comes West Bengal with 4.35 percentage, and so on. So since I talked about these data, so first let us understand what is this inflation here. So if we see, so inflation, as of now, we can call that inflation is a sustained rise in the general price level in the economy over a period of time. If we see, there are different types of inflation, like there are demand pull inflation, there is cost push inflation, and there is structural inflation. Like if we say about demand pull inflation, then when the demand in the economy is more than the supply, then this demand pull inflation happens. If we look at cost push inflation, then when there is a supply shock in our economy, then there is a reduction in the aggregate supply. So due to this, the prices of the inputs gets increased, and hence there is inflation. If we look at the structural inflation, then what we can see is that this is basically a bottleneck inflation. So, due to structural weaknesses, if we say like lack of infrastructure and so on, there are operational problems, and hence there is issue of inflation. Now, if we also look at now, let's talk about the impact. What type of impacts happens due to this inflation? Now, uh, due to inflation, there can be recession in some of the sectors, like the price of the goods can increase, therefore their demand will decrease, and hence there will be recession. There can also be distortions in the production pattern, like if the raw materials get increased, prices get increased, and the production will decrease uh, to a slight bit. Then also we can see that there will be impact on exports, like the goods will be more costlier, and hence the foreign importers will not be willing to buy these goods, and therefore the export will decrease. It will also impact imports, like since the cost of the goods in our country will be more, uh, then we can get a cheaper imported goods, and hence the imports will increase. Also, there will be unequal distribution of it will create unequal distribution of income by like the poorer will become more poorer, and the people who are like speculators, or the people who basically deal with black marketing and all, their income will increase. So this will bring a imbalance in the distribution of economy. And also, if we talk at government level, then there will be increase in the fiscal deficit. Like there will be more costlier borrowing from the government, and hence the fiscal deficit will increase. Now, if we talk about what are the measures to curb this inflation, so we can say there can be three ways by which we can curb inflation. First, we can talk about monetary measures, like the central bank will deal with it by using contractionary monetary policy, or yeah, by reducing the money supply, increasing the CRR, SLR, repo rate, and all. And also, if we talk about the fiscal measures, like central government can use the budgetary policy, where they can increase in direct taxes, decrease in indirect taxes. Also, they can decrease the government expenditure. If we talk about administrative measures, then there then this can be done by restricting the holdings of the speculations, or we can import the commodities from outside when there are short supplies. We can ban export of several essential items which are needed. So basically, this inflation is measured in several other ways. Like there is a wholesale price index, uh, which is basically on selected goods, and it is not based on services. There is consumer price index, which also helps us to know about the inflation at the consumer level, or we can call it the retail inflation. So these consumer price index, they are mainly of the different four types, I think. First is for industrial workers, next is for urban employees, then is for agricultural labor, then is for rural workers. Now, if we see about the measurements of the CPI, then the base year that we consider for measuring the CPI is 2012, and yeah, and when talking about inflation, you can come through different other terms. Like there is disinflation, which refers to the reduction in the rate of inflation rate, and there is deflation, that refers to the persistent fall in the price level in the economy. There is reflation, where we can say that when the economy overcomes, or when the economy is returning back from a recession or a depression, then we can then what is this recession now? It is a situation in which we can see there is a negative growth rate of GDP for two successive quarters. Now, what was this depression? It is a form of recession, and it is a situation in which the recession might have continued for a long period of time. So you might hear about misery index, which is means considering the inflation rate and the unemployment rate together. Then there are headline inflation, which is based on all the types of this inflation is based on all the types of commodities. There is core inflation, which is based on all the commodities which are non-volatile, and it does not take into account the food and the fuel items. Then we can talk about stagflation. Stagflation is a situation where there is a high inflation, and it is accompanied by recession or unemployment. So these are some of the things that we should keep in mind while talking about inflation. Thank you.